Hello everyone, welcome to this week discussion board. For this discussion board, we were supposed to focus on three topics. The first one I'll be talking about is the weekly readings. I found really interesting this article called "Understanding Our Influence Over Others at Work." I think this was really interesting because this is something that you see in your everyday life at work, but you don't really notice. The article talks about how influences could be used in a productive way, let's say to incorporate a more positive environment or to upgrade employees' work ethics and stuff like that. The article also talks about how when individuals encounter an ambiguous situation, they often look to their peers for help in deciding what to do. That's something that actually relates to me because when I'm at work and a situation happen, I go to my coworkers and like we come together as a group and like decide how to resolve whatever the situation is. Um Now like if it's something more serious, of course I go to my manager and stuff like that. So I do think influence over others individuals is good as long as as long as it's for the individual's benefits. Let's say like a coworker having an influence on me because I observe the way he or she treats people, so I could like start acting the same way. Another article that I will be touching on today's discussion board is toxic employees. In this article, I learned about the dark triad, which basically explains the personality traits of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy in the workplace. The article explains how Machiavellianism is a manipulation and exploitation of others. Narcissism is basically a lack of empathy and pride, and then psychopathy is defined by having antisocial behavior and being selfish. I also learned about the soft and hard tactics. Soft, basically being designed to convince the individual that is in their best interest to engage in the wish behavior, which is mostly used by changing their mind through the use of reasoning, like adopting a paperless workplace. And hard tactic, basically when the user forces their will on another person, which is mostly used when they want to get something done by like a certain date, let's say like a construction project or stuff like that. So the other question says, in what ways have you witnessed conformity in your workplace? Identify times that conformity has been positive and negative. I will say I have witnessed and experienced conformity. Is that like um there is a new company standard in my job where we have to do like a specific task um towards the customers, like trying to get a new way to create more sales in store. Um Employees there, including me, don't really like this new standard that the company has because we basically think that it's like too much work and the customers are gonna complain about prices anyway. That shows conformity because we are trying to conform with the company standards. We're trying to get used to it. We're trying to follow the rules, but it's negative because we are not really happy with it. And yeah, but like we still have to do it. So the last question says, let's assess this claim by our workplace experiences. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. What I understand from this claim is that whenever a person has a lot of power over people, it makes them corrupt. I would say it depends because not everybody's the same, but I do think that there is some cases where that happens. People get too much power and don't know how to act. Mm, and don't really notice that that could affect the way individuals view their power, their form of power, and it could get to the point where this person could lose their power because of the way they act corruptly. I have an experience with a manager where he used to think that he was better than any other manager because he used to even say that to like the employees and stuff like that. And he, like, everybody hated working with him because all he did was like telling people what to do, but like he didn't do anything. I understand that, like, you as a manager, you're supposed to watch what others are doing and you're supposed to tell everybody like what to do, but you should also set an example and not like stand there doing nothing. So um I would say that this is an example of corrupt power because he basically used the power that he had at the moment and to um influence others into doing whatever he wanted them to do, and like other people couldn't really say anything because he was above them, and this manager got fired. So yeah, that's all I have for this week. Hopefully you guys have a nice week.